Berlin Township Trustees regular meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Rail.
Here.
Trustee Bullard.
Here.
All here.
So that takes us to public comment. Anyone choosing to have public comment, please join us at the lectern. Hearing none, we will go on to approval of minutes. February 10 regular meeting.
I have only recently finished proofreading them and emailed them. So I
Okay.
imagine everybody had a chance to read it.
Well, I did look at it, and it still has the insert leave.
Right. I
Yes.
have to change all those too.
Okay,
But the text is all finished.
okay. So we'll consider that at our next meeting then. That takes us to executive session on personnel matters. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, move to recess into executive session from regular session pursuant to ORC 122-21G1 for consideration of personnel matters, hiring, firing, demotion, promotion, or discipline of public employee or official. Inviting the Chief Taylor, Township Administrator Hale, the Board of Trustees, Fiscal Officer, and Assistant to the Fiscal Officer.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Trustee Rail, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes,
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
we are in executive session.
How about I just that?
camera and action.
I'd like to make a motion that we return to regular session from executive session. So moved.
Second?
Moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Rail.
Yes.
Okay, we did meet in executive session. No actions were taken, no decisions made. Do we want to just jump into road department rental contract?
Yes, we rented a Traco for work in the cemetery in the amount of,
Trustee Bullard, can you speak up for the microphone? And what were we looking at for this one?
We need to do a rental contract.
We need to do a rental contract for
We'll hire
the,
that so we can rent to the building.
okay,
So we've run it through Tony, everything's taken care of that needs to be done, we just need the physical officer to fill out the contract so I can send it back to Ohio Cat. And then,
Mhm.
everything needs, that way we have it, and then we can also have it for future use for equipment rental.
okay.
so we got the Ohio machinery contract that we need to take care of. And the excavator rental, we've got one. So find out.
Okay, so do you want to move that Ohio Machinery contract?
It's a credit application. I'd like to
Mhm.
move that we apply for a credit application to Ohio Machinery Company because we may be renting something in the future. So I move that we apply to Ohio Machinery Company for a credit application. So moved.
Second?
Okay, and for clarification, who would fill this out and sign?
It would be,
Wouldn't it be the fiscal officer, Miss Trustee Bullard?
it would be the fiscal officer would be doing it.
Mhm.
But it would only be after we've done a motion to rent something.
Okay,
Okay, so it wouldn't be just go get whatever you need. But if on an emergency basis or something like that, we could do some things.
Okay,
Yeah.
but in your motion, are you authorizing the fiscal officer to fill this out and to sign this application?
Yes.
okay, friendly amendment
Friendly.
approved.
Okay, so moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
Okay, and with that, I would like to make a motion that we approve requisition dated 7/14 of 2025 to Ohio Cat Rental for the rental of the excavator in the amount of not to exceed $2,538.80. So moved.
I second, and if we could modify the requisition on this to indicate the designee, it just has the date and amount, it doesn't have the.
So do you have a requisition number?
So what I would like to do going forward with the requisition number to help also with POs is use the resolution number, so we are, and then the resolution number, that way we can find it in future.
Okay, so do you know what the resolution number is?
This is 25-7-4.
So it'll be requisition R 25-7-4.
I'm okay with that, but I would want the requisition included in before we bring forward the resolution. So I'm not sure how we could do that effectively in the future.
If it's any help, I've been putting the resolution numbers on the POs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd resolve it nicely. Because that way, what mirrors our resolution mirrors the requisition number in what we provide to the public.
Okay, so say that again.
I've been putting, well, first of all, I've been keeping in the minutes the requisition number, but I've also been placing, where it says requisition, I've been putting actually the resolution number in on the PO.
Yeah, I think both those ways make sense, don't you, Mr. Chair?
And of course, the minutes have the resolution number.
So
as
in the
well.
resolution, in the verbal motion put forward, which is the resolution as well, he's been putting the requisition number included, which could or could not be what he includes before. And then in the purchase order, he includes the,
So I think that is wonderful, only if we're up to date on the minutes.
agreed. Which will get up to date. Right. Well, and we're talking about a new process for minute taking as well, which in the next few months we'll implement it in such a way that hopefully almost immediately following the meeting, because we're going to keep them auditorial moving forward starting next year, that will be pretty seamless. But it will be nice to have in the written journal, Mr. Fiscal Officer, it would be nice to have in the written journal then still retaining that requisition number, because then written journal has requisition number matches to written journal, matches to audio file, which is the official township meeting minutes.
I mean,
Will be
so that,
anticipated.
that works, but in the meantime, it's difficult.
Mr. Fiscal Officer, how long do you anticipate it taking to get the February to July meeting minutes up to speed?
I hope to have them by the September meeting.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, and welcome to our Assistant Fiscal Officer. So glad you could join us. I think that we have some promising efforts in that regard moving
The
forward.
March meetings were monsters, were absolute monsters. So they're gonna take a long time. I'm almost done with the February 27th. The April ones went a little faster.
I wonder why.
Okay, moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Okay, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the monthly expenses for the road department in the amount of $906.24. These are various purchases for various items.
Second?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Okay, next item is an ag sprayer for use, being able to spray pesticides and herbicides. We have a licensed applicator in the road department now, or someone that's licensed to be able to do that. This is a small unit that would fit in a gator and allow us to go around and control the weeds where they need to be controlled, but also to be able to control the poison hemlock and some of the other weeds that are along our roadsides, and be able to spray those in a safe manner. So moved.
Second, and just for clarification, is that for the total amount of $1152.46?
Or 1267.92.
Okay, $1267.92 with the 10% contingency added. That's what that
Right,
comes
this is
to.
not to exceed $1,267.92.
Okay.
Okay, moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion. Now, I do have a quick question, because trustee Bullard mentioned both insecticide and pesticide. No, insecticide and herbicide.
Herbicide. Yeah.
So
Herbicide.
will it get washed out in between? How does that happen?
What's that?
How's that happen? So you're going to wash it out?
So some chemicals you can mix, they're compatibly mixed, and some you have to mix separately.
Mhm.
The only thing I can't do is around the buildings. I can get my license to do around the buildings, because it's just like adding tanker to your CDL, it's just an endorsement, but I do not have it, I can only do out there.
Okay. Well, and the poison hemlock and those kinds of
Yes.
things are the
Yes.
things that are most detrimental.
Yes.
So that safety component is addressed. And then you're going to just clear out between each one? Okay.
So the way I'm going to try and do it now is I've got my license through the Department of Ag, and I'm going to have Jeff be a trained service person to spray under my license.
Okay.
So there's at least two of us that can do it.
Okay,
So as long as I'm within 25 miles, 2 hours of his place, it'd be the farthest, he can spray it, and I don't have to be here.
okay. And then we have employed and paid for a contract that takes care of some of the weeds and some of the
Yes,
other
they can
stuff in
keep
the
doing-
cemetery.
They can keep doing the yard,
Mhm.
and I'm just doing mainly the roadside, around the fuel tanks, that kind of stuff.
Okay, great.
So moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by trustee Rail. Further discussion?
And it would only be used by licensed applicators within the road department.
Mhm.
Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes,
trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes. And I'd like to move requisition to AZ Contracting LLC of Groveport, Ohio, in the amount of $6,762.80 to install a new fence and all posts and everything associated with that, plus purchase the materials for the fuel storage unit at the fire station, moving down there. So moved.
So did you say $6,762.80?
I don't know, but let me add that in. And a not to exceed amount of $6,762.80. We have a purchase requisition or a proposal from AZ Contracting to do this in the amount of $6,148, and that's the expected cost of it.
Okay, but the amount in your
This
resolution.
amount in resolution $6,762.80.
I second. Moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by the chair. Discussion?
Are we splitting this 50/50 fire and roads like we've done everything previously, just to clarify that, put it in the motion? How do you want to do that, since it's going to be a multi-use purchase?
there's that. And what's the requisition number?
Okay.
Be R0702.
If we're on that.
R0702.
Okay, so back to the splitting of the cost. Are you asking for it to be roads general fund or roads permissive tax fund?
That we can do either one. It's just roads and fire. I wanted, like, we split everything else for the tank. So I wanted to get that clarified now so that it's easier counting later.
It seems like it would be general for fire.
Wouldn't it
No.
be in a-
No, the fire would come out fire, but the roads, there's the permissive tax is not all that permissive. And I just want to make sure, but we need to spend that money. But I want to make sure that we're okay in spending it out of that.
Why would it be a facility?
Because I had 400,000 for the facility and we're only using 75.
So you're saying roads general fund?
Is the building fund under general or is it under the permissive? What did you pull that out of?
Yeah, the fact we have significant building fund savings, I think we should take it out of that. And because it's part of the function of that area that we're developing.
If it's legal, I don't have a
Absolutely.
preference. Well, we'll just say roads and then we'll leave it to the fiscal
Yes.
officer to determine which of the roads funds. So 50/50?
50/50, yeah, but is it helpful, Mr. Fiscal Officer, to hear our recommendation on that?
Let me try a
In the end, I
recommendation,
got
which
it
would be to spend the roads money, the roads dedicated money up to the amount that is allowed, and then the rest of it comes from the general fund.
I don't think I can come and take it from the permissive. I think I could take it from the general, or I'm still thinking here it's an improvement. It's a facility.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you were saying.
Yes.
So let's try that then. So 50% fire, 50% roads. Now,
Dedicated money.
is the,
For roads for improvements.
okay, I may change my mind on that. So is our building, our capital improvements under roads, or we have $2 million that we transfer to capital improvement roads, right?
Correct. But that's not, the building fund should be under something separate, because I did that as part of the budget.
Right, because we're gonna need more than the $2 million on roads coming up. But the building fund, that's not really roads, is it? That's just general fund. So we could just do it,
Yes.
general fund out of
The building fund.
the building fund. Okay. Are we agreed on that?
Yeah,
Consensus? We don't really. need it.
no, you have
Part of the motion,
consensus,
but
yeah.
If we have the consensus, then the fiscal office will know general direction. Okay, so moved by trustee Buller, seconded by the chair. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes,
Trustee Bullard.
Yes. Next item is a resolution to the Delaware County Board of Commissioners to vacate Township Road in Tanktown. If you look at page 3 of that attachment in your packet, this one, it shows the roads that we have and what we're talking about vacating.
Yes. I reviewed it earlier, and it's what we talked about earlier.
it is what we discussed. What resolution number would this be, Mr. Fiscal Officer? 0703?
No,
0704?
I don't think so. What resolution number are we on?
We are on 27-7, I'm sorry,
5-07.
25-7-8.
8. 25-07-08. Okay.
25-7-8, yes.
Okay, so I move resolution 25-7-08.
8. Yeah.
Actually, Trustee Bullard just moved it, didn't he?
What did you move it?
I was bringing it up to move it, but okay, I don't care.
Because I don't really want to read the whole thing, but I move it, a resolution to petition the Delaware County Board of Commissioners to vacate township roads as given in our packet, 2 pages long, and to have that appear in the minutes in its complete form.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion?
And just for clarification, we're talking about the plat at Tanktown. And some of the different parcel numbers, lots indicated within parcel numbers in the resolution.
Correct. And it directs Township Administrator Aubrey Hale to, or her designee to, file a copy of this resolution with the Board of Delaware County Commissioners.
Okay, let me make a couple comments. This West Street and the alley and the dark purple on your page,
Yes.
those all definitely need to go away. The East Street is not where the East Street is that's over there. Is that correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
so the road that's over there, the common access drive is actually what it is, because it's in the board's has deed to that driveway. It's actually to the west of it. It starts at the edge and goes 26 feet or whatever into that guy's yard to the west. So what we're actually on is the part that's deeded is where the common access drive is.
So this is extra to what we're doing here. But I think that we should do something, because if we don't do something, they could do adverse possession and really turn it into a road.
Correct.
So we need to do something, and I don't know what that something is, and it'll take longer than I will be here, but
It's next on my list. I want to get this done, and then next was working on that. It's in the board's
And
name, because the common access drive really has some questions of us maintaining.
yes, that's why that needs to be addressed. So-
It's Doug and I's working on, I wanted to get this step done, and that's Doug and I's next step.
and I believe this doesn't change what we're doing over there maintenance wise.
No,
What this is this is getting rid of stuff that we don't use, we don't touch, we don't do anything with. The stuff that's over there, the part of the road that we maintain we still will maintain.
And it is obvious that we should vacate this when you got a tree in the middle of the road.
In a house in another part.
Or a
Yeah.
garage, or a house, or
Yeah.
something like that.
So I moved it, I apologize, who seconded it?
Trustee Board.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Board, we missed a requisition earlier for roads, if you want to bring that forward.
And I will sign this one and then,
Yeah, we can make sure we get a copy signed by everybody, so I can get it.
Here's what this is.
Absolutely.
Do we need to modify the motion? I don't think. But okay, that's good job. Okay, now we've got some REAs.
yeah.
No,
First one.
there
is-
was a there was a requisition that I just handed you, Trustee Board, we did not bring forward. We have to bring that one forward still.
You didn't bring that?
No, we did not bring it forward.
I thought we did.
I think Ohio Machinery is CAT.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
We did the credit app, but we didn't do the requisition.
We did
for
the credit application, but not the requisition supplemental to it.
No, we did.
Okay.
I thought it was the second thing we did.
Yeah.
This one here. But we didn't have the number on it.
Yes, resolution 2573 was apply and authorize me to fill it out. 7-4 was the Ohio Cat Rental Store.
For the amount,
Yeah.
what amount?
For the
But
25.
we didn't have the number for it.
Right.
2508? So we got it?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
That's-
thank you. Thank you, Trustee
for bringing
Board.
that up.
Okay. So
We're
I think
good.
we're okay, but I'll give
Yep.
this back.
No, we're good.
If you would like to sign this one.
Okay, let me sign that.
Okay, REA,
Anything needs to sign.
request for engineering
Yeah.
assistance.
Just a second. Today is the
14th.
14.
14th of June. July. I made the motion.
No, I made it.
No, you made it. Okay. Seconded by something. Okay, let's listen to also. Okay. First one is an REA. To mark the right of way at the 3860 Curve Road. And I would like to make a motion that we approve that.
Second,
Okay, so moved by
REA.
trustee Bullard, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion. What's going on at that address that we need this done?
says complaint of fence and grown-up weeds in right-of-way and on parcel.
So zoning had a complaint, and they wanted us to go out and mow. There's a complaint for fence possibly on the right of way, and they haven't mowed. They say there's wildflowers in there, but we're gonna go out and mow. But with the fence, I need to see if it's on the right of way or not, because if it is, we need it pushed off the right of way.
So where is it in relation to the
Between
affordable,
Winding Creek and Blackfield State. It'd be just the Dave.
the old house property?
Yes, yes.
I don't know that we have a right of way there.
That's what I wanted to find out. It shows, after you and I talked about this earlier, I got thinking, it shows it on our right of way sheet. So I want to verify, and the only way I can verify is to have them survey it.
Curve Road isn't always in the right of way.
Well, that's my, yeah, totally, we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
So that's why
I
we
want
need
to do
it.
it, so then we at least know where we're at.
Moved by trustee Bullard,
Seconded by
seconded by
trustee.
trustee Rail. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Rail.
Yes,
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay. What is it?
I've done that before.
There we go.
There you go, I saw you
Okay,
signing
and
it. There you go.
Then we have an REA to locate the pins on the north side to discern the cemetery fences on township or neighboring property. And this is for the Cheshire Cemetery. So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Buller, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion?
No, I thought we have already done the pinning for this property previously. And didn't we have stakes up even at one point?
So we did it once, but we only did corners. So the issue is about in the middle, there is on the pines or Burnley Manor behind us, the fence may have a bow in it. So
Mm-hmm.
now we're going to we're going to locate every property pin and figure out if
Okay.
the fence is on or not.
Thank you.
Yep.
That clarifies.
We're going to,
And can we have some demarcation so that we don't have to do it again? Thank you.
The only catch I will say to that is there's a couple pins that I cannot find. I found all the pins, but I want Chris to verify. So if a pin needs to be set, technically the engineer cannot set them because that's not in their purview. They will have to get the property owner will have to get a surveyor to set the pins. All we can do is locate what pins are there.
Fair. That's fair.
okay, you've got a requisition, you've got a,
So here's the thing, is that I don't see how that can't be in his purview, because the requirement to become a county engineer is two things. You gotta be a PE and you have to be a surveyor.
So that is correct, but the county engineer is not in the business of marking.
Well, is this he does not choose or he is not allowed to?
I think he's not allowed to. He can only, because when we went through this at Fairview, he said he can only locate pins, not set them. And I would understand that because basically you're doing a service for free that someone should be paying.
Well, that's why you choose not to do it, but I
Okay,
question,
maybe he's not allowed to do it because Bowser chooses him not to do it.
okay,
knowing the way the state does things, they don't want to take liability for anything that they can stay away from. And what setting the pin does is it does make you liable for where the pin is located. If you just agree that the pin's at the right place, that's one thing, but if you set the pin, then that says, you say that it's there and you're gonna have the insurance to cover all that sort of stuff.
okay.
I'm guessing. but
Regardless, we do have
That's-
plenty of pins
Yes.
surrounding the cemetery that can be located.
Well, and I
so-
would tend to think, but of course, it doesn't matter what I think, is that it would be linear from pin to pin to pin, and if there's missing pins, it would be in the line, but I don't know if that's actually how it was.
It's how it looks, but
Well, I don't know if that's what the legal description is.
right,
Mhm.
that's what we gotta find. That's what we're gonna find out.
Okay,
Okay.
so moved by trustee Buller, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes,
trustee Rail.
Yes.
and if you go back there and look, there's lath all over the place where they've surveyed it before, and the developer surveyed it, the homeowner surveyed it, and what we're trying to do is just get it so that we know who owns
Yeah.
the property.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So we
Okay.
voted on that, but, so what is the consequence to this? If the fence is not on where it should be,
We're gonna have to move it.
move it or remove it?
That is the board decision.
I won't be here. Let's move on.
You can do the what ifs, but let's figure out where we're at, and then
There you go.
we'll do the what ifs. We've got to do this to figure out what we know. And with that, I believe that covers everything in the road department.
Okay, that takes us to fire department. If you'd like to just touch on the monthly trustee report.
Sure. Quick read for that one. Thanks, Purple.
Go ahead.
For the month of June, we took 49 runs, 20 were EMS, 29 were fire. That gives us a total of 238 for the year to date. We completed 15 inspections, and Yes. We completed around 120 for the year, and in the month of June, we did 26 of our personnel did 417 and a half hours of training.
And I do appreciate you breaking that down so that we can see.
I think that, yeah, it's important. Also, of note, for this meeting as well, for the public and for you, the touch a truck is this Saturday at the high school from 9 to 1. So,
Did we already put out a social media advertisement for this week on it?
Not for this week, we
Yeah, I
have
did one.
previously.
I did one on the fire department's page like Friday. I'll throw it
Friday?
in
Could you
here.
you can just forward the one from Friday's fire over to the
Yeah,
township?
and I'll probably
Great.
up that maybe Wednesday.
That will be a very great, successful event.
Yes, should be. Looks like it's gonna be a large event. So
Awesome.
Excellent. So if you could take us to requisitions,
So I have several tonight. I don't know what's first in your packet.
04, do you want me to just go through it and then you? tell me?
47 first?
Yeah.
47 is just the monthly spending for non-requisition spending.
So I move that we approve $678.53 for non-requisition bills and credit card spending.
Okay.
Moved by chair, second by trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes, that takes us to 41.
This one will be to IE monitoring instruments for the purchase of 1 4-gas meter and 3 clip single CO meters, and also a repair or replacement of another 4-gas meter. And the total would be $3,014.40, expected at 2512.
So I move that we approve appropriation to IE monitoring instruments and requisition 2025-041 for an amount of $3,014.40 with an expected cost of $2512.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bullard.
Yes.
That takes us to 42.
42 would be to Dragon Rescue Management to send one of our firefighters, John Cavis, to an elevator emergency management class in Indiana. We are, in a deal struck with him, we are covering cost of tuition. He is covering cost of his travel.
So I move that we approve
Well,
requisition 2025-042 to Dragon Rescue Management for the purpose of an elevator emergency management training for an amount of $335.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by trustee Bullard. Discussion.
Is this, is the training in Indiana or?
It is in Indiana. The company is located in New York.
Okay.
That's why the flyer says New York. That's the only information I have on it. It just basically gave you a description of the course itself.
So their office is there, the training is in Indiana.
Indiana, yes.
That's all fine. And does this include expenses or is it get up real early and drive over there? And then drive
He's
home?
covering all of his own expenses.
Okay.
He has not requested any reimbursement of expenses, just tuition only. So that was kind of the give and take. I mean, we have several elevators in the community, but it's not a common emergency we respond to, but I feel it's important that we get at least one person
Absolutely.
trained, and then he's gonna bring that information back to us.
Absolutely.
Will he be able to bring materials and training back with him to go to the rest of the fire department?
Yes, sir. That's the plan, yeah.
And Chief, if I'm interpreting your last month's report correctly, you had provided over 417 hours of training to your firefighters in the month of June?
That's in-house training and training that we do outside, yes.
That's fantastic. And I see it's distributed across 26 personnel. So I think that your training program and emphasis is going to pay off in spades. And so great work on that.
The guys do great work when it comes to training. They're always training, so.
Good. Good.
So now this requisition is for $335, but the flyer says $550.
Do we have a second on this one?
His request was for
I,
335.
Okay, well then that's what we'll approve.
I,
Okay, so,
I believe I seconded that one. Didn't I?
yes, I believe so. Moved by the chair, second by trustee Rail. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard.
Yes.
That takes us to 42.
43 would be a hotel stay and meal stipend reimbursement to me for attending emergency resource management plan course. This is a National Fire Academy course. It is also being held in Indiana in August. This course has no cost for tuition, excuse me, other than the only expenses would be for a hotel stay for the 5-6 nights, I believe it is, and the meal stipend for reimbursement. And both will be, it'll all be reimbursed to me.
Okay, so I move that we approve requisition 2025-043 for an amount of $829 because of an emergency resource management planning course, and that the board declares meals stipend to be a necessary expense.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes,
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
that takes us to 44.
44 would be to the fire law group in Exeter, Rhode Island for tuition to a fire law course that's being held in Sunbury in October. And I'll be attending that as well.
So I move that we approve appropriation of $375 to Fire Law Group LLC, requisition 2025-044 for tuition for fire law course.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by trustee Rail. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. 45.
45 would be to American Integrated Training Systems for the registration of 4 of our members to attend an EVOC driver's training instructor course being held locally here in Delaware. We would have, once this is complete, we will have a driver's training instructor on each shift plus 1 part-time member.
I think this will be an excellent thing.
Yes.
We thought so too.
So this, I move that we approve requisition 2025-045 to American Integrated Training Systems Incorporated
Okay.
for an amount of $2,380 to, for tuition for EVOC class.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Did Bullard second that?
Yes.
Thank you.
That takes 46.
Actually, seconded it twice, so I guess that's okay.
Just double second. 46 would be to Bowling Green State University Fire School in the amount of $1,325 for Captain Shaw to attend the Fire Officer 1 class. This is a hybrid program held both online and in person. Tuition would be for tuition, lodging, and meal stipend reimbursement in the amount I mentioned. And that class is in October.
So I move that we approve requisition 2025-046 for an amount of $1,325 to fire officer, well, it's really to Bowling Green State Fire School for
Yes.
Fire Officer 1 training, and to declare a meal stipend of $200 of that as a necessary expense.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. So that takes us to the fire inspector position. I believe that we want to post that position. Am I correct?
Yes.
So I move that we post a fire inspector position effective today's date.
Second.
Made by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
And I believe that we'll have a minor tweak to the job description and perhaps an SOG to accompany that for our next meeting. Thank you. That takes us to an organizational analysis discussion.
Yes. The board, we have not yet had a chance to discuss this with the board, so wanted to understand any of your feedback and thoughts on the document?
I'll open that to the board.
The organizational analysis was, I think, somewhat delayed in what we were provided. I found some of the information more helpful than other parts of the information. One of the items that stood out to me that was called out was that it suggested, or did not suggest, it stated that the board's practice must cease in not filling positions that are vacated till the sick time is paid out. It was not my understanding. I can read the exact quote. I was ready for this for tonight. Or do you happen to have the language right there?
For staffing levels?
Yeah.
Okay,
Ready?
Yeah, read it out loud.
Berlin Township must discontinue its current practice of not backfilling personnel off duty due to sick leave, vacation, or other events to maintain proper staffing levels.
This was
Okay.
not my understanding of an agreement, a policy, or anything that we have discussed previously.
so what I think that they are perhaps referencing was that we couldn't fill somebody's position that was in the position.
So when we had an extended leave of
Well-
an officer,
Sick days, I don't know if that's called sick leave. I don't know.
yeah.
May I offer my thoughts? What I believe,
It felt like a little bit of a misrepresentation because I had never heard of that until I read it in the
what I believe he's
organization.
referring to is, we have our staffing for the day. Say today we had 5 people on duty.
Mhm.
Okay? If at 6:30 in the morning, one of those members calls in sick, we don't necessarily backfill that until we get to 3 people. Once we dip below 3 personnel, then we will start filling with overtime and things like that. Our minimum staffing at the fire station is 3 personnel.
So
That-
is
that's
your
the fire
recommendation that we change that current practice that you have in place?
That's not necessarily my recommendation. That was one of the issues that I think he brought forward, is we should have, if you read beyond that in the document, there's, where he speaks to staffing, and we should have 5 people minimum and things like that.
I was okay with all of
I believe
most,
that's,
not
I believe
okay,
that's
but I
what he's
was
referring to. is
understanding what
we're
he was
dropping
mentioning
below
there.
That five personnel. So, currently, unless somebody wanted to volunteer for the overtime, or, we'd have to basically mandate somebody to stay. And my feeling right now with our current staffing levels is we'd be doing an awful lot of mandating and affecting people's personal lives greatly if we started backfilling to maintain 5 or 6 people at this point.
Yeah, I'm not in.
In the future, that may be a thing, but right now, I believe
Well,
it's
I
just
don't
not
think it's,
good
but I do
practice.
think it's necessary to get it up to 3.
Yes. And that's where we stay. Our minimum
So
staffing is 3 people.
So, Mr. Chair, I would like to actually request a potential modification to this final document to reflect the interpretation that Chief had mentioned, because it does not say that we require a minimum of 3 in that. It just simply states, in a rather declaratory term that didn't strike me as accurate, to be honest with you, that we must continue to cease not staffing the department. We are staffing, we have a minimum of 3, and if we are going to keep a maximum of 5 to 6, this incredibly disrupts the firefighter schedule and their personal lives by mandating that. So I would like that note to be reflected in this document in a persisting basis. I don't know if you can work with the individual who wrote the analysis, but I thought that statement was, first of all, not fully accurate. Now that you're describing it, it sounds a little bit more
I believe
fleshed out.
that's what he's referring to.
And if that's not what he's referring to, then I would like to know what he's referring to, because the board does not, as far as I'm aware, does not dictate that. And I'm all for an analysis that may not look favorable, but I want it to be at least accurate.
Sure.
Is that fair?
May I add
Yeah.
something? And I think the chief, in saying that at this time given the number of new people that we've onboarded and where we are currently with our staffing, the number of people that are signed off to drive, I think we'd like to revisit the minimum staffing at some point in the future, probably sooner rather than later, but not until we are at a point where we can sustain that. So I don't want to push it way off. I think that we need to probably in the next 6 to 12 months come back to the board and say, let's look at this again, but it's based on where we are right at this moment.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. I just want it to be noted that it's not the board that was informing that.
I've mentioned previously, I didn't particularly agree with the concept of the training officer.
I could see, I recall reading about that, and I could see at some point maybe looking at that, depending on the growth. Like, for example, if we had
if
a
the
business park.
yes.
Yeah, if we had the business park built out and we have a lot,
Totally
so we
agree.
have the lake, we have the business park, we have a lot of intricacies here.
If I may, I would look at the timeline for some of these recommendations that he has is many years down the road. I've
Well, why didn't
Look at it as
why
much
didn't he
as-
add a timeline to some of this? Because that would have actually been very
actually,
helpful.
he took a timeline out at my request because he had a far more aggressive timeline than what I was comfortable with.
Or at
He had
least,
like a 3-year timeline on this, and I said, that's impossible.
well,
It doesn't seem necessary.
So perhaps there just needs to be a disclaimer statement that this will be a goal, not an immediate.
Like a long-term vision.
Yeah, from this, I'm working on crafting, some sort of plan for the next, say, 5 to 8 years.
Yes.
And that's kind of where I'm looking at this document as a goal for the next 5 to 8 years.
And usually,
then obviously, now we've inserted our administrator,
yeah.
her and I have had some conversations back and forth about it as well.
And I believe this can be a living document where some goals may be able to be sped up based on certain things that happen in the township, or if we need to push them back because of other things that are going on, then we should be able to adjust those. But I'd like the chief to develop an implementation plan for getting these goals accomplished.
So part of that, in my view, which I won't be a part of the discussion, is going back to the facilities, because if you have facilities and you have room to put people, you can put people in the room. If you don't have room for them, I don't want to go somewhere, and I've stated this previously, I don't want to build onto this fire station additional capacity for housing people, because it's not built that way. Now, if the board in the future decides to build another fire station that has capacity, then you might look at more staffing, but I just think where we are is where we need to be at this time. And if we're going somewhere else, that needs to be planned. Because how long does it take to build a station?
A few years.
Yeah,
Not
at least.
And you probably can build a station before you get a fire truck.
I think
built.
the goal is to have a discussion with you, the document to be, dissected, and I understand what your thoughts are, and then I can move forward with crafting the plan and present that to you through the administrator, downstream of, say, a month or so, or two,
I think
how
that
long
we
it takes
would,
me to get it done.
well, I think it needs to be done comprehensively, but I also think you might want to give the other trustee a little bit of time to acclimate. So
We can
that
bring it
they,
back this fall.
so that they have time to make an informed decision.
First of all, I'm glad that it's my understanding that money was taken off of the final amount for the organizational analysis, given the delays.
Yeah.
I had an expectation about an organizational analysis that the recommendations wouldn't be as somewhat generic as they were, and would be more specific to what Berlin Township's needs are currently. So, like, for example, the training officer is a perfect example. You've done a great job putting together a training plan. And, like we said, last month had over 400 hours of training across 26 personnel. some tangible numbers of look to develop, look to hire, need to add X number of capacity. Clear, measurable performance indicators is what you typically find in the organizational analysis, as well as short-term and long-term goals. And I found that to be quite lacking in this organizational analysis, even to the point of where the initial front pages describing Berlin Township seemed like they were from Wikipedia, so it's helpful. What I think I'm looking for, though, I guess, is more the work that you would do, Chief, which is what are the goals, what are the timelines, what are your capacity demands, and how are you filling them? What do you need from us as a board to be able to support those efforts? What money do you need? And I didn't see a lot of those specifics filled out. I also, as I mentioned, big proponent of training. I made specific suggestions to the organizer of this analysis that I thought it was pretty important that we have some capacity for training with in-house, like gym, looking at a comprehensive well-being and health support system. And that was something that the previous chief had brought in and said, oh, we could have, a spiritual therapist of some sort come in. And I said, that's great. Let's have all kinds of representation in that to be able to provide our firefighters with not just physical support, but mental health and well-being support. And I didn't see any of the things that I had recommended really suggested in that document. And I wish I would have seen that. And so I'll look to you to do that over the next few years to develop something comprehensive to support our firefighters physically and emotionally and in all the different ways that, being a first responder can impact your life, Is that a fair analysis, gentlemen?
Do you have anything additional?
No.
Additional?
The one question I got is, could we cover that as a SOG? Which would make it official and it's easy to keep track of.
His suggestion, Trustee Buller's suggestion, is make a SOG of some sort related to, let's call it staffing, general health and wellness or something like that. And kind of come up with a system of support over the next few months.
Okay. So if there is any question about is it official or is it not there, and it doesn't get lost in the paperwork of a motion or something.
Okay. Anything else on organizational analysis?
I think we did talk about the facilities last meeting, but that did come up in the organizational analysis. So all of my position stands from last meeting pertaining to this one, but.
Yeah, so do mine.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So other than the one change, this document is basically accepted as.
Clarify accepted.
So I can begin to work on.
Yeah,
the
I think.
long-term, the planning that I wanted to do. I really wanted to see what your opinions were and if there was going to be anything that was going to be gleaned out or,
If there were any recommendations.
Recommendations
that the board was against.
So I
Yeah,
think.
there was one for you, right?
Well, it was the training. So I think what needs to be considered is the budget in implementation. So some of the ideas might be modified based on budgetary constraints.
Well, that'll all be worked out in my plan. This will be much more expanded on.
But there was,
Planning that I want to do.
outside of the training officer, was there anything else that you had mentioned? Captain?
Nothing additional.
Well, the captain was, they
training.
wanted a captain for training.
Yeah,
I did
the
not
training.
want that.
Yeah.
And somewhat,
And that gets resolved by a full-time assistant chief.
well, see, assistant chief is in play as to what is a little different as well, but we've already fleshed that out, I think.
Do you feel like you have a good direction to build off of?
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else you didn't want to see in the long-term plan. So
Well, it's.
I really wanted your thoughts on it.
It really goes to the cost of implementation.
Well, and all that will be played out in my plan.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, and you may want to present the board
Well, that, yes,
at what your long-term plan is
Right.
budgetary.
yes.
Mhm.
My plan would be presented to you and the administrator long before it's.
Because I have stated before that I never wanted our old levy to be a replacement, because that would lose our rollback. And the new levy, you guys can decide on. But that's, our next levy is the old levy, right?
Well,
I
it's
believe the next
something-
levy is the new one.
Is it?
I think the old levy was the last one. I believe.
But we need to be very
They're just
clear
gonna
on
be
what it is.
renewed. Unfortunately, the state has decided that they're gonna take the replacement out of our hands, so that won't even be a thing anymore.
Was it-
Things go the way
Well,
they're
and it was
expected to
actually
go.
very smart on your part. I mean, I don't know if you had anticipated that, but that prevents us, unlike a lot of our township friends, to be spared of that replacement levy removal. So we're gonna have to be very intentional and keep an eye to what the state is doing in our
I'm
next proposal.
that's one of the reasons I participate in the legislative committee of Ohio GCC.
Yeah.
So I can keep abreast of the changes that the state has.
Great
and what they're
work.
doing, especially what they're doing with property taxes.
Well, and if they override the veto, then the township has to worry about that.
Mhm.
So there are 3 property tax up for the session starting the 21st of July, I believe. They're going to look at veto 55, 64, and I think 65. All property tax.
Mm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Chief.
Thank you. Anything else for fire? Hearing none, we'll go on to cemetery. We do have a sexton resignation. Do I have a motion to accept that?
Make a motion that we accept the resignation of cemetery sexton Tim for effective. Do you remember when it was effective?
July 8th.
July 8th.
Second, moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by chair. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rio.
Yes.
So I move that we post the sexton position for Evergreen Cemetery.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion.
Do we need to put any comments in regarding advertising and all of that? As
Well-
far as what should be there, or do we just allow the administrator to?
I guess we could appropriate,
We can do that in a second motion.
yeah. So we're gonna move to post first, then we'll do a second motion for appropriation of funds.
Okay.
So moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard.
Rail.
No,
Trustee Ray. Further discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rio.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
yes.
So now, approximately how much money would you like to have?
Let's go with $500 to be safe.
That's what
I
we-
will set the budget appropriately for the Indeed posting.
So moved.
Second, moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by the chair. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee Rio.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. Requisitions?
Did we need to do anything with a clerk position at this point or not?
Yes.
So you would like to post
Cemetery clerk.
so I move that we post a cemetery clerk position,
Part-time.
part-time, at least to start with, part-time. Yes, so moved.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion. Will you need appropriation for money for that as well?
Jeff, Fiscal Officer Jordan, we appropriated $1,000 a couple meetings ago. Do you know how much is left of that for Indeed?
No, because it was on a credit card. I think the last bill I got was It's 300? I'd have to go look at the credit card.
Said that there was some reimbursement on our
Indeed pays
Indeed
them,
account.
Indeed, it gets paid on a credit card, so I have to pull up the credit card.
We could go ahead and maybe say 300 for that position.
Okay,
So
so we'll do
800
that.
between the two.
So we'll do that as a second motion. So further discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bowler.
Yes.
So I move that we approve appropriation of $300 for the purpose of advertising for the cemetery clerk position.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by trustee Bullard. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bowler,
Yes.
trustee Rail.
Yes.
Give me a second to catch it.
Okay.
O'Brien motion and Bullard second, right?
Do we have anything we need? Don't think so.
Okay,
Whose is this?
got it.
The fireproof, is that
That's for
cemetery?
May I add, I just searched, unless someone has the document, the cemetery clerk does not have a description already in the handbook, so it's in the organizational minutes listed as a position, but there's no accompanying position description unless somebody can dig that up.
We weren't going to fill it at the time that we did the, so we didn't spend.
Is there a job posting for assistant cemetery sexton? Because I believe that we may have taken that job description from the cemetery clerk.
Cemetery clerical, it is in the
There you
handbook
go.
as cemetery clerical, not clerk.
Yes, there you go. So we do have a job description.
Thank you.
So this filing cabinet is cemetery?
Yes.
Okay, I move that we approve $3,342.59 to Amazon for a Patriot 4-drawer fireproof filing cabinet with an expected cost of $3,038.73.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion. So I know that many cemeteries have lost records in fires in the past, and it's been catastrophic. So I'm glad that we're doing this. Further discussion?
Well, we've also got this 2025 more grant that we've applied for from the Otarma in the amount of $1,000 that would be used for that purchase also.
Excellent.
Provided that we're.
But regardless, we need the,
Mhm.
further discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bowler.
Yes.
The grant doesn't take a motion, does it? It's the accepting of the grant that will take a
Yes.
Yes.
motion.
Correct.
And we've got a cemetery grant that we're applying for also,
Yes.
just to FYI. And that will need to be done before the end of the month, but we'll get that out.
Should we authorize you in advance to do anything with that?
I would plan to bring it back to the board. My experience with grants is always have the legislative authority accept it before the funds can be
Right.
used. And so we are applying for $2,500 through the Ohio Department of Commerce for funds to get evergreen surveyed.
Excellent. That takes us to zoning department. I'll turn it over to trustee Real.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we mentioned in last meeting, we had the resignation of our zoning inspector. We do still currently have our assistant zoning inspector, Mr. Jerry Valentine, as well as our township operations specialist, who is continuing the work of permits and some other clerical entry items. We have also procured a potential intergovernmental cooperation agreement for shared services related to zoning services with Orange Township. Last time, as the board may recall, when we had a vacancy in the zoning inspector position, Orange was incredibly helpful in stepping up and providing their expertise so that we could maintain smooth zoning operations. And it's my recommendation that we enter into this mutual aid agreement or this shared services agreement at this time.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, sir, I would. Move to approve an intergovernmental cooperation agreement for shared services related to zoning services for the purpose of this agreement and to state with the covenants and conditions under which Orange will, using an Orange employee, provide zoning support services to Berlin, collectively known as services, as outlined in the draft provided herein.
Moved by trustee Rail, second by trustee Bullard. Discussion. I think it would be beneficial to let Assistant Prosecutor Mr. Stocco know that we've approved this and that we did it at the meeting right after he's done it, so that he knows that his work is being appreciated when we get his work.
I will say that he and Mr. Betts both assisted last week in getting this done on behalf of both townships.
Well, we send our gratitude to both of them for mobilizing this so that we can ensure smooth zoning services to our residents and to potential builders.
Moved by trustee Rail, seconded by trustee Bullard. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes. Do you want to sign yours? or-
Yeah, I'll sign this.
And if I could get a copy of that, Fiscal Officer Jordan, so that we can get it back to Orange Township. I believe their meeting is on Wednesday.
Excellent. Which, by the way, there are some documents that we need countersigned. It doesn't really have to do with this, but like with the temple, have we gotten the countersigned documents?
The last time, a week or two ago, it's maybe been 3 weeks now, when I asked the prosecutor's office, he indicated that they, I believe, were still waiting on those documents.
Okay.
I inquired about that not long ago, because I realized we hadn't seen them.
So does that mean they're not approving it?
I will check in with him.
Because if so, we need to know, and if they are in agreement, we need a copy of it.
Mhm.
Thank you. Trustee Ray?
Thank you. The next item is the appropriations of services for the service agreement. How much would you recommend?
I would
Administrator?
recommend $8,000.
Okay, move to appropriate $8,000 for the purposes of the shared services agreement related to zoning services with Orange Township.
Second, moved by trustee Rail, seconded by the chair. Discussion. Please call roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes,
Okay, I'm going to need a second to put this together.
Okay.
Please.
let me know when you're ready, Mr. Fiscal Officer.
I've already signed it.
Did you want that highlighted for a reason?
I highlighted it after my
Okay.
conversation with you.
Did you have a recommended amount?
Qualifications.
I was supposed to sign this before, right?
You already signed.
Yeah, I already
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
My point being, I've dated it the 11th. Is that okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
you had to sign, then the prosecutor's office had to sign, then the board could sign.
Just wanted to make sure that was okay.
Yes.
Or should I change that little 1 to a
We
4?
were following the
No.
prescribed, the requested sequence of the prosecutor's office.
Just checking. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Fiscal Officer. At this time, the administrator and I have spoken about some of the direction related to the zoning office, and I think that there is afforded a real opportunity to restructure and reimagine some of our zoning office capacities to be able to build to the future. We have the business park, we have a lot of commercial permits that are going to be coming in very soon, and we need to build to that capacity now so that we're not overwhelmed when the time comes. With that in view, at this time, I think that we need to look at the zoning office hours while looking at the fact that we're also going to be looking to implement permitting online. So that should give our residents access to zoning office materials. Also, we have a lot of that material electronically available for residents now. And we'll be looking to potentially reduce the office hours for a temporary basis while we get all of our zoning staff up to speed, maintaining a 10 to 3, is that right? 10 to 3 open office hour schedule with a required open office hours of 10 to 12 for anyone that would like to submit any materials Monday through Friday for to the township. I don't know that, should we do a resolution for that?
Yes.
Since we did it in the organizational meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
we should because it's a change, so.
Okay, so move to,
So the open hours that we're required to have is 10 to 12,
correct.
period, and that's every day.
And we're gonna try to stay
Anything-
open.
Anything other than that, I'm fine.
Okay, we'll definitely have those hours hosted, and anything else, we would try to do 10 to 3, and if we need to close earlier than that, we'll post to the website, like how we had kept with the organizational meeting minutes, where if there's any alterations, we would post to the website in those hours.
10 to 12 is when we need and absolutely must have a staff.
Correct.
And so anybody that has a document that they need to present will have that ability regardless from 10 to 12.
Correct.
So do I have a motion?
Move to alter the zoning office hours on a temporary basis, not to exceed through the end of this year, to 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, with required hours being 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and any alteration between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. being posted to the website.
Second.
Moved by trustee Rail, seconded by trustee Buller. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard.
Yes.
And in keeping with some of this change management component, like I mentioned, we are getting a number of different requests from residents. For example, in our most recent zoning report, we did show new home permits are at 105 through the month of June. So we're well on track to hit that 200 plus mark. Welcome to any new residents who are joining us over the last few months. But with that said, the structure of the zoning office, we really would like to reshape to start with the position of the director of zoning and look at bringing on the director of zoning who can serve in the capacity of the zoning inspector in the zoning inspector's absence, and then looking to fill the zoning inspector position and some of the other positions underneath the zoning capacity at that time. So move to create the director of zoning position as a new position within the zoning department.
And to post it?
I should be posting pay later, right?
That's up to you.
I'll do post and pay later.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. So do you second?
I'll second it. Yes.
So moved by trustee Rail, seconded by trustee Buller. Discussion? Please call the roll.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the
Sorry,
second.
I was asking.
Oh, you're fine.
So it was moved by trustee
Got it.
Rail and seconded by trustee Buller. Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
I think this will really structure us to be able to meet the needs of the current and future of our township. And with that said, move to declare the position vacant and post with the appropriation of $500 for the posting of the position.
And advertising.
Posting and advertising of the position.
Yes. I second. Moved by trustee Rail, seconded by the chair. Please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Okay, next up on the zoning department is to accept the recommendation on case 16-001 Amendment 3, known as Ravinia Norris at Evans Farms.
So when you make that motion, if you would also add for consideration, because we're accepting their recommendation as a case. We're not accepting their recommendation as a final approval.
Yeah, that's interesting. The way it's worded, I wasn't, I actually was just going to schedule the meeting and we would accept any documents therein at the meeting.
Well, but we have to start the clock, have to accept the information because that's the starting of the clock.
We're not accepting their approval though.
That's right, that's why
Accepting that the case
has been forwarded to us.
has been forwarded to us, yeah. So really, we would be accepting the initial documents for the case and scheduling it. Do we happen to have the initial documents provided?
Fiscal Officer Jordan does.
Okay. Thank you. Let me just review that. Do we have any of these marked as exhibits?
Not yet.
Okay.
We will give them back to the zoning inspector to create the binders with the exhibit list.
Okay. So either we can accept them and determine what the exhibits are and tell the zoning inspector, or we don't accept the documents, but we set this time within the 30-day window of removing. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I don't think the second is a wise choice because I think in order to say we got the documents on this day, we have to say we got the documents on this day. Even if we say we have received the documents, we need to note somehow or another that the clock has started. But we also need to make it clear that we're not accepting the recommendations for approval without having the hearing.
Correct.
We're just accepting the exhibits so we can schedule a meeting.
What is the exact language, though, that we finally had determined for the ORC? Do you recall that language?
Previously, I forwarded earlier today from Jen Huber,
Yes.
but I believe that was for once the hearing has been conducted.
Right.
Previously, because this is a slightly different practice from what we've been doing. Previously, the hearing was scheduled within the 30 days, and so
Right.
it wasn't being received at the next trustee
Right.
meeting.
So,
Previously, the documents.
so that's
So we've
why the difference.
received,
Yes,
so it's upon receipt
yes,
of the recommendation,
yes.
right? So we would want to say
Received.
that we've received it. So we don't need, so we're not acknowledging these texts yet.
We're acknowledging that
The
they've been given
receipt
to
of
us.
the decision. No, we're not even acknowledging that we've received any text. We're acknowledging that we've received the decision from BZC.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But we don't need to accept these as exhibits or not accept them.
I accept that.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit new terrain, somewhat. I mean,
Well,
it's
because-
new old,
Yes,
because it's been,
yes, totally. You don't have to plow that ground again.
Yeah. all right, you can take these back.
Thank you.
All right, so we need to determine the date, time of that hearing, and then I'll bring forward the motion. I was looking at 8/11 is our next meeting, correct? At 7
Yes.
PM? Do we have 7:30? Do we want to do it at 7:30?
I think 8 would be the wisest choice because I do.
With having 4 weeks between meetings and anticipating a number of business items.
For some reason, I think the next meeting will be a long meeting as opposed to this short meeting.
Quite short.
We should be able to do the meeting on, first meeting in August, the 11th.
I agree.
And 8 PM, does that work for everyone?
Mhm.
And the fiscal officer will post the notice as necessary, or is that the administrator doing that now?
I will work with the zoning office to
Zoning
make sure
office.
that that is done on the website and social media accordingly.
Okay, are you ready, Mr. Fiscal Officer?
I am.
Okay. Move to set the date, time, place certain for BZC case 16-001, Amendment 3, Ravinia Norris at Evans Farm hearing for August 11th at 8 p.m. at 3271 Cheshire Road, having received the decision of the BZC case on 7/14/2025.
Second.
Moved by trustee Rail, seconded by trustee Buller. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Okay, so just as a kind note, we didn't accept the recommendation. We received the recommendation and set the hearing.
Understood.
And we'll get the exhibits and we will accept the initial documents at the day of the hearing.
We'll make them
Exhibits.
exhibits.
Accept them as exhibits.
Yeah. Thank
For
you.
consideration. Thank you. Okay, I believe that is all for zoning at this time, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to fiscal office items.
Do you have it there? Okay, we were looking for it to make sure you had it.
I move that we approve positive pay file report dated 7/13/2025 at 3:57:43 p.m. Warrants number 32911 through 32961 for an amount of $113,065.19.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard.
Yes.
And then, did you want to talk about the electronic payment list?
They're here, and we're back at the table if you want to see them.
I did.
Anything of any interest?
I didn't see
We
anything.
did pay the workers' comp. We paid
Thank you.
a lot of the usual stuff. Paid the credit card bills electronic, that was 2,700 or something like that. Wireless bill, the usual water bills and electric bills, those are all electronic. The OPERS bill, the OP&F bill, those are the biggies. And then, of course, the health insurance premium is a big one. Those are all in the ballpark of $15,000 to $20,000. Nothing of any particular interest this time that was different, I don't think.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any questions from the board?
No, not this time.
So do we have any items from the fiscal officer accepting certificate of estimated resources? I want to hold off on that.
It's, you what now?
I want to hold off on that. Do you have any other items?
No, it's due on the 20th.
Well, what I want to do is have that come up as the last item, because I'm going to recuse myself. And then I asked, unless the
It's good.
ethics board says I can do it, I'm going to assume that I shouldn't. And so I'm not going to even discuss it unless they say, go ahead, which they may, but I don't care to question that.
May we do it after late items?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the very last item.
I have one other item, the $1,500 for PO for the Verizon bill, or is that gonna be later?
Late item.
Late on, got it, okay, that's it then. Last point, I am our auditor. The audit will be this Thursday and Friday, the CPA's coming here.
Oh.
I've taken Thursday and Friday off from the treasurer to host our audit.
Okay, excellent, because I think that's excellent timing so that the audit will be done so that between my term and the next trustees, it'll be clear. So,
Yes, sir.
so the audit will be conducted starting this Thursday?
Yes, he comes here Thursday and Friday.
Okay,
His
excellent.
name is Brendan Balestra.
I won't be able to pronounce that, but good.
Balestra.
Yeah.
So usually they want to schedule with the board as well. Is that scheduled? It's usually pretty cursory at the very beginning.
I asked him, what do I need to do? And he says, I have attached a client assistant package. Let me see what it's, of course, it's 1 million pages. No, it's only 4 pages.
So we're going to need the minutes caught up because that's the first thing they
Yeah.
do. I mean, they sit and actually read them all
Okay.
because then they test what's there, what the resolution says.
Well, I'm gonna get dinged on that, aren't I?
Well, except for they may just delay until it's done. Because how can they test it if they don't have it?
They rely heavily on minutes.
What this says, audit preparation checklist, it says.
Well, if we need, do we need to appropriate, if we need to appropriate any more money to get caught up? I suppose we should.
So do we need to do that because?
That would be in his purview.
Yeah.
Back to the original question of board member, it says board members, they want name, address, occupation, term of office. I'm not seeing anywhere here where it says we want to meet them.
It's not a want. They,
Well, let's just be on standby as a board.
yeah,
to
and they may want
address
to,
any
they may be
questions,
willing to
but-
do it individually too.
Yeah, and if that's fine, if we need a special meeting, we need a special meeting
Right,
too. But
especially if we need to approve minutes. So if we need to approve minutes,
But I agree, the timing is great because I think solidifying and then getting additional assistance now, solidifying things in your transition, this is a great timing to ensure that what we're doing is up to par for practices and standards.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So do we need to appropriate any money? Do you need money for anything?
No, I believe I believe the state auditor pays for all this.
No,
No, we pay.
we'll
Do we
pay
end
for
up
it.
getting paid for
Yeah, they'll charge
They'll
whatever
send
they want.
it? Send us a bill, okay.
Did they send you, they should have sent you a letter that kind of gives you, like potentially how much it would be?
Now, let me see if this thing says,
Or I would contact. I've had to do that before. Did they give you like a checklist of what you do?
yeah,
Did they give you a, like
I'm looking at
an
now.
agreement previously that was signed?
I previously signed an agreement.
It might be in there,
Mm.
possibly, what the cost would be. Maybe check that one.
Because they usually do it per hour because that's why you want to have your boxes all laid out because it's by the hour. They don't care how long it takes you to find it because if they have to sit and wait for you to find it, they're getting paid.
Mhm.
Which I would do if I were them too, quite frankly.
I've got that back in the file cabinet.
Okay.
It
Well,
doesn't-
you can bring it up at the next meeting
Okay.
or the special
Right,
meeting.
because
if we
it's
have
not
special.
saying here in this package you sent me.
Okay.
You can make
Administrator.
Yes. I would like to request the board's support to engage our outside counsel additionally on contracts as needed for various items and other matters. We already have a number of firms that are engaged, but generally, if we have more time-sensitive matters, support for taking those outside and being able to move them along. And recognizing it may require additional appropriations as we go along. because we will be increasing our expenditures with some of the firms.
It's an unfortunate conundrum to me to be in this spot, because typically we would want, and I think historically the prosecutor's office has done a good job with the review. That said, we have been on the brink and sometimes potentially lost tens of thousands of dollars in contractual agreements because we're down to the wire waiting on verbiage from the prosecutor's office. In addition, the online permitting system, we've been in a tug of war with a company who engages with a couple dozen townships in contractual agreements to take online payments, and we can't seem to negotiate a way to make it work.
So I'm wondering if, and this is a legal question.
Yeah.
If the last budget bill of the state helps us in this regard, the language requirements are worse in the contracts. Okay, I take that. But it seemed to me like one of the sections of the law said, if the contract does not meet all these things, the contract is good except for what it doesn't meet. And those things are void. So if that's true, now that's if, and this is a legal question. If that's true, so whenever they have an indemnity clause that we're not allowed to approve, well, the rest of the contract is, and because the indemnity is not allowed, that's void. Now, that was my cursory reading of the budget bill, and the budget bill was not a light reading. So I may be wrong. So if we could find that out, that would be helpful. Yes.
There's a letter that we received, which is the civil newsletter. Did you all get that?
Yes.
And did you read what Chris Betts wrote about that? Because Chris covered that in his discussion, and Tony covered part of it in his discussion too. Same sort of thing.
But did they talk about the void part? I don't remember that part of it. I remember all the requirements.
They talked about the part that if it's not allowed by the state, it's not allowed by the state, period.
Right, but does that mean the rest of the contract is okay and that section is void? That's the part I'm not sure I was clear in there.
Chris made some comments about that, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically, by the way I came away from it was the contract is there, and the parts that are void, but the rest of it's still there.
So does that give us license to, because it made it sound like don't do that, and then that's why I was a little unclear. When I read the actual language of the budget bill, it seemed to me that it did make it void, but the rest of the contract was good. But I may be wrong, and that might be.
That was the way I read what Chris said.
Okay.
And I tried to forward it. Aubrey didn't get that in the mail. If you guys could.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. You didn't get it in your
If you
email?
forward it to Aubrey, that would be great.
Okay.
Because
Well,
my email just locked up. So.
I mean, that's an interesting question, and I think we should definitely get the answer to that question. That's a little bit separate than the support that we need in reviewing the contract, though. And even the prosecutor's office has said, yeah, you should probably get some help from outside.
So here's my thought on it a little bit, is that when it's pressing, and sometimes it's pressing and we need it, because I think the prosecutor does a great job in quality usually. It's the timing that's not, because they have so many townships that they have to do, that it's not always helpful. So, but what I don't want to cause the unintended consequence I don't want to have happen is that the prosecutor said, oh, you have outside counsel, just go to them for everything.
Well, that would be a lot of the reality of what we already are dealing with, for example, in zoning.
But there are some things that they seem to react to rapidly, and I don't want to lose those. So what I would like to have the board consider is that we grant this authority at a limited amount, so that if they say, well, you have that, she can say, well, but I only have authority of this amount of money appropriated, and so I can't go out for everything.
She is Aubrey?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I would rather limit it by time than by money. So for
What do you mean?
example, like we had a deadline last week, and if she doesn't hear within a respectable
But
amount of time.
But I'd like to give her that discretion, because
Yeah.
otherwise what happens is they just delay everything, so they don't have to do anything.
That's my point. That's my point, is if the money isn't gonna actually end up delaying anything, all the money would end up doing is having us have a special meeting if there's an emergency situation in which she has to have more money appropriated.
I understand that, but if we have a finite amount, she can say, I have this much authority for the rest of the year. I have to limit this, so I have to come to you for some things. I'm not saying limit it to an amount that every week she has to come. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I understand the intent of why you're bringing it up. I just don't know that the solution is really gonna work the way that you think it is.
I'm just trying to come up with a
Yeah, a
solution for
solution,
everything.
yeah.
And so it may not work, and then we punt.
What do you think?
The thing is, the timeliness, there's cost, performance, and time. Cost, performance, and schedule are the three big things. Cost is something we're gonna have to bear on that, as far as that goes. The timeliness or the schedule is the thing that's just killing us on everything. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to spend the money in order to get the, what we went through on the barn contract is something we should never do.
Well,
Well, we're still.
we're
going
talking
through
about the barn here a year and a half after.
We're talking about that, we're talking
We've
about the
actually been working on
implementation
that
of
barn.
payrock. We're talking about a lot of things.
We've actually been working on that barn about 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well,
And
when you
different
count the
countries.
flooring and all of that
All the
mess.
stuff. And we've skinnied it down to where we got what we got.
Yes. Now,
Mhm.
I think we're in agreement.
Conceptually, we are. So we'll put something out there. Let's put something out there so that she has the latitude to do the thing. Let's go with your solution, because I'm not bringing forward another solution. I'm not bringing forward a viable alternative because I don't. And then we'll see how it meets. And if it's something where you end up not having money and we have to schedule a special meeting, then we're going to address it in a different way.
And so we could also do it as a super blanket as opposed to a PO, so that, let's say it's $20,000. Then if it's zoning, she can go to a zoning.
I like
attorney.
that.
If it's
I like that because that gives us that, because it's the time compression is what becomes the issue. And if she's in that scenario, she has to be empowered to be able to make the decision to get the thing done that needs to get done without us all three having to meet in a special meeting.
So what we can do, totally agree.
Okay.
So what we can do is have the amount of money that's already in the POs for the specific firms. And then I would suggest $20,000 to be as a super blanket that comes after the POs are exhausted.
That will suffice. And that is on the condition that we can't reasonably meet the deadline using the prosecutor's office.
And there are some things that are important that he can deal with that aren't urgent.
And I think there's a few matters that may be appropriate to go outside, because I know that the prosecutor's office may not be able to give us the resolution that we're looking for.
Yeah.
And so,
But there are some things that I think that he is better
Absolutely.
equipped at than
Yes.
any outside.
Yeah,
counsel.
there's no impunity on the quality of the work. It's just the timeliness of it.
But I mean, there are certain areas that I think that they're
Yes.
superior at, even if they're not timely.
Agreed.
And let me also say that Aubrey is overloaded with all the things that we're trying to get her to do. And one of the things that's eating up a ton of time is managing the contracts that we're trying to get approved to be able to go do the contracts. And so we can actually get some hours back into Aubrey's basket by
Yeah.
making it quicker and easier for her to be able to do the contract business.
So I
Absolutely.
move that we approve,
Appropriate.
well, first I want to approve Administrator Hale to contact outside counsel when deemed necessary and appropriate.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion.
I thought she already had that.
Well,
I think we
I
already,
already have permitted the authority to engage.
we
but it's
already gave
board
that to
support
her.
okay,
For the financial component.
so I don't know if the wording,
Is exact, but this will get it covered.
yeah, but let me ask this question because we didn't talk about this. So let's say it's an area of expertise that we currently do not have counsel. Would that resolution give her ability to go to a different outside counsel?
What we explicitly approved was, I mean, I think we ran through the parties that we had in our organizational meeting minutes was who we approved her to reach out to. So we approved Riepenhoff,
Yeah, yeah,
Purchase,
But
Reinhardt.
with what I just did, would that allow?
I mean, it was generics enough to say external counsel, but then you could argue that the counsel would be those who we've opted to engage with.
So do you see a need to have the ability to go to a different one for either reason that they have a conflict of interest and can't represent us with a certain party, or it's just an area of expertise that we need a different expertise?
Yes.
I make
Yeah.
another suggestion, which is the three townships to the south of us, I believe, some of those three are all using Brochus and Johnson. And Brochus and Briggs, or P.
Yeah,
Briggs, and you know who I mean. And they're the ones that are doing that. And they're keeping up, they're happy with it. If we go to them and are able to get in and fit in and do all that sort of stuff, we address it as a problem when it is a problem. When it's not, but if it's not a problem, let's just go with the people that we would be comfortable with. And I'm worried to make sure that, wanting to make sure that they're not just giving us an answer that says the contract is good and then charging us some money, but it's still, I know we're still the ones on the hook for the contract regardless.
Well, because it's only advice, it's
Right,
not
that's all it is
guaranteed.
advice.
Because sometimes their advice is wrong. Now, the advantage of
And-
the prosecutor is that they have to defend us. And if they gave us the advice, they defend more vigorously.
But if they're wrong, they're wrong. And
They are wrong, but they aren't gonna charge us with doing something stupid because we followed their advice.
Right.
Well, I mean, I can name 2 cases in which they illy advised us, and there have been 2 lawsuits in the last 4 years because of that advice.
That's why I'm more comfortable with using
But then
somebody.
they had to defend us.
Well, one, they actually recused themselves for conflict of interest.
Yes.
I do see there are some other firms frequently because while there are many firms that represent public entities, there are several that we frequently come across, and a conflict of interest could arise very quickly. And I do see a need of, there's one issue out there currently, especially in the economic development space, that I think we may want to engage with a different counsel than what was listed in the organizational minutes.
Yeah, I could see that for economic development. I think Jen Huber with Brochus has done a great job with BZC support.
And they're familiar with township law and dealing with townships and all that.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
And the thing is, if the other 3 large townships are using them, I don't want to take that as a endorsement, but what it is they're using somebody that they're comfortable with. We could be comfortable with them, and we're comfortable with them in other areas. And to me, it makes sense to use them. And if we start getting into trouble, or we find somebody that's giving us bad advice or just giving us advice, we change. We
Yes,
figure out somebody else.
well, and I have no problem with
I don't want it to
her.
cost us. I don't want it to cost us though, potentially. Bad advice could potentially cost us.
Yes. Well, but the other issue is that we engage Orange Township cooperatively oftentimes, and they can't really represent both of us on the same contract unless we waive.
Sure.
But then that takes another meeting for both of us and things like that. So I like having her have some flexibility, and if we don't like about it, we'll harp on that, but I don't think she'll.
So back to the original question, does your
Resolution. say that.
resolution
Are you able to read that back?
permit that?
No.
Nobody can listen to
Authorize the administrator to contact council when appropriate.
Outside counsel,
Outside counsel.
When necessary.
when necessary and appropriate. Yeah, that's better language, but it still doesn't get at the outside, because outside counsel is, in my
Undefined.
view, in my view, outside counsel are people that we have said we're engaging with you. But we want it to be broader, to say she can like proactively reach out to engage with outside counsel and potential council agreements, right? Both current outside and
But she
potential
doesn't have
counsel.
contracting authority, so she can't really contract.
No, but
with
she
them.
can engage. The word was engage, right? Contact. So it's not contract, it's contact. And she can contact, she can engage, she represents Berlin on those matters, but she can't enter into a contractual agreement or commit any money without us.
Right, but we're going to, in the next motion,
Appropriate.
money.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to ask a question, Aubrey. Is what we're proposing what you would like to see, and are we making life easier for you and all that sort of stuff?
Yes, I have fairly extensive experience engaging with legal counsel, so this is not something that is new to me.
Is it engagement with current and potential legal counsel? Is that the right verbiage?
Yes, because there are firms that we may need to.
So are
Engagement
you okay
with-
with that as a friendly amendment?
Current, yes,
So
and
I
potential legal
agree
counsel.
with that as a friendly amendment. So can you read that to him so that he can add it?
It would be something like what you said.
I had approved the administrator to contact current outside counsel and potential counsel when necessary.
Yeah,
Okay,
great, thank you.
so
Get that right.
Motion to
Authorize administrator to contact current outside counsel.
Current and potential outside.
And what is that resolution? Well, first we need to vote on it. So moved by by the chair, second by trustee Rail. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Let me read it one more time. Authorize administrator to contact current and potential outside counsel when necessary and appropriate.
Deemed, but that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I used it. I
When
think what he's,
deemed.
but
Got it.
it's fine. Okay. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes,
trustee Bullard,
Yes,
trustee O'Brien,
Yes,
thank you for your patience.
thank you. And do you have a resolution number for that?
That was resolution number 25-731.
So I move that we approve appropriation of $20,000 to facilitate resolution 25-7-31.
second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion?
From where?
Oh, that is a good question. Administrative general fund?
Yeah, but well, it depends on the issue.
No, because we're gonna do a blanket PO. It's gotta
Okay,
come out of the
yeah,
general fund.
yeah,
Even if
yeah.
it's fire, it's gonna have to come out of
Because
the
it's gonna
general
be blanket, yeah.
fund. I mean, we could split it up, but I don't want to do that. If it's administrative, general
General,
fund, it
yeah.
can be used on anything.
All right, well, there is 20,000 we can take out of purchase services.
Okay, good. So, moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Further discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes,
trustee Rail.
Yes.
Okay, so, while we're under administrator, do you mind if we backtrack? I don't know if we covered this on cemetery. On the collection of funds, did we make that Monday through?
I had it as a late item, but we can do it whenever you'd like.
If you have it as a late item, we can do it then, but I want to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so that takes us to purchasing policy. So would you like to address that?
I would. In an effort to help all of staff with all of the transition, lay out a clear system and process for how expenditures are to be done, I drafted a purchasing policy for the board's review, the fiscal officer, assistant to the fiscal officer's review, and input on some things. I recognize that there are some items in here that deviate from the organizational minutes and their proposals to try to streamline things, recognizing that often, especially in the organizational minutes, with the introduction of my position, not bringing back requisitions for items over $500. I know previously the board wanted to see the expenditures and make sure that they were keeping an eye on what was going on, but trying to make sure that we as staff can keep things moving and not necessarily wait for a board meeting. So I've had that before you tonight for input. I have not had the prosecutor's office look at this yet because if there were substantial changes, I didn't want to waste their time on something that the board was not in alignment with.
So when I reviewed it, two things came to my mind. One is, so when you say administrative, who has the authority on the administrative? I'm assuming yourself.
Myself, or as I read the organizational minutes, it appeared the trustees.
Yes. So, but the problem with that is if it's a set $10,000, if she does $10,000, I do $10,000, and trustee Bullard does 10,000 and you do 10,000, that's no longer 10,000, that's 40,000. So what's the intent here? Is it 2,500 each? Is it?
It was 10,000 total.
So, but you see the conundrum, because if I mean, now that you're here is unlikely, but let's say you were not.
I would
available.
think it would have been a major issue before she was here.
Yeah. But I'm just talking about, so if I approve $10,000 for fire.
Right.
And then you come
And we
in.
couldn't even talk about
Right,
it, but I think if we just empower her to do it.
but the problem is if she's not here, she's on vacation, she wants to go to a trip, she might want to get away from us occasionally.
No.
But then we still have the authority, but we still have a problem because I can do 10,000, you can do 10,000.
Would the fiscal officer be able to help monitor and if there's a problem, communicate that?
Sure.
I don't like that. I think it should be set for us, and I think that the administrator should be the single person that can. I mean, it's always been a problem.
Yes,
So we're not solving for anything new.
That's
In
right.
fact, it's better with her here
Yes.
now because
yes, I totally agree.
I'm inclined to say, let's give the administrator the 10,000 and then give each of us a distinct amount.
Yes,
And then
I agree,
that way it's all resolved.
I agree.
Okay. So, we'll say, something like each board member, right? Something like that. Each board member has, what would be the authority for each of us? 5,000?
on a monthly basis?
Yeah.
I don't think I need that much on a monthly basis.
Well,
If she's got.
but if you
But
have,
if she's got 10,000,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to her and say, hey, look, we
Yeah.
need to do this, and we'll figure out how to do it.
but if a transmission goes out,
If transmission goes out or anything
That's
like that, I
emergency.
look upon that as an emergency repair. I don't think that even cuts into any of it.
Well,
Yeah.
but does this emergent, do we have an emergency clause in there?
Yes, I pulled it from the organizational minutes, it's the last paragraph of
Yeah.
page 1.
That would be an emergency to me.
And then could be, fiscal officer Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, that would then be a then and now, if we have to do it as an emergency.
Yes.
I look-
Well, because there's not a blanket, so are we doing a blanket on all these amounts? Otherwise, it's a then and now always, and I'm very opposed to then and nows unless it's an emergency.
We have the amounts currently, we're just increasing them. So it would be with.
So how do you do that? Is it then and now on that or what?
But if there's,
Depends partially on the amount. I mean, if it's $200, I'm just gonna take it off a blanket. If it's $7,500, then, we're gonna have to do a then and now purchase order.
but that would only be done as on an emergency basis for an emergency repair.
So are you thinking of this $10,000 as more, not circumventing the requisitions like we did on fire, but just when it really is needed?
To some degree, to start to eliminate some of the requisitions that come forward on the smaller items. And I think that ultimately my goal would be to get to where we have a budget where the trustees could be at the end of the year looking ahead and we have all these items and we are budgeting for them so that we're not going through the process of doing so many requisitions.
So there's two thoughts on that I would have that would mitigate my concerns. One is that we have a list of things coming. So if we're going to do hoses, we have that all ahead and things like that.
Mhm.
Because we said no on hoses until we get the grant. I think that's what we said. The other is that, like the roads does now, I didn't really see the fire did it one once, but where we get a list. Okay, it's after the fact. It doesn't need their approval, but we need to know where, I want to know where the money went. And then, so if I'm starting to have a problem, it doesn't counteract what has happened, and I'm not second guessing that the expenditure was there. But if it's headed a way that I don't like, we can talk about it, but we don't need to talk about it if everybody's happy. Because if you're buying postage stamps, why are we talking about it? But,
The way I look at it is the money we're talking of here is either emergency repairs and that sort of stuff, or their additions to functions or projects that we've started, that we've talked about, and we've decided we're gonna do them. We're gonna plant trees in the cemetery, but the trees cost a lot more, okay? I'll give you some money, pay for the trees, and let's go with it. Not, I decided to go put on a bunch of trees over there because I like trees and I'm gonna put them over there. Okay, I don't look upon it as being a new activity. I look upon it as being a modification to an activity that we've talked about, figured out that we wanted to do it, but we've underestimated the cost of it or did it wrong.
I totally accept that, but I'm not sure that's what you're saying.
That is not necessarily my intent. It is to get the board out of some of the minutia and some of the day-to-day operational expenses that are part of just the nature of the township and not having to bring them forward.
And I personally am okay with that if I know what it was spent on. I'm not okay with not knowing where the money went. And I believe you asked for an opinion on this, and we have to approve it, but we can approve it after
Yes.
the fact.
So,
And that's why
yes.
the list is there with roads. We have approved it, but we didn't have to come and approve it ahead.
And
of
I'm
time.
wondering if that list, that same concept doesn't carry over here where, yes, the amounts and all that is one thing, but then we still get provided and maybe we don't even need to have a discussion about it. but we're provided with the list of the expenditures in the packet. And so if there's any aberrations or anything that we need to further dive into, like a random check payout that no one seems to know about, then we can inquire with you beforehand or bring it up to the board if it's in another department to talk through why that expenditure was made. It's because I see what your concern is, but I also think that part of getting professional management on staff and upscaling ourselves as a township of 10,000 residents means that we have to let the operations do the operations without feeling impaired in the day-to-day,
Well, right,
you know?
but so I think we're in alignment in that
I think so.
that we know what's happening, but we're not having to approve everything. And I think part of that also goes to the fact that I think none of us have an outside business, but, well, I don't know if you do, I actually don't know if you do, but,
You know.
well, I know. And so sometimes after going through those ethics courses that I had to go through, I'm thinking, oh, I could see the trustee that comes after me having, things
I
that.
do have concerns about that. I mean, what you described, it works perfectly right now, in my view, for the three of us. But I'm not sure that that's always going to be the way that it works. And I don't want to have a policy that permits these kinds of things where maybe there are potential conflicts of interest, maybe there are payouts. I think you kind of address that in this, where you talk about if something is more than $5,000, multiple quotes should be obtained when possible,
Mhm.
like kind of getting to that.
Mhm. I mean, I generally
But-
am pleased with this policy. I just want to know where the money.
So
went.
is there any way, Aubrey, that we could address like a reporting mechanism of sorts so that, yes, all this stuff is you're still moving ahead, but then the board gets informed about these kinds of expenses?
Well, and I'd like to look at our fiscal staff to see if there's a way
Mm.
that we can pull that from UAN. I mean, at the end of the month, where
Right.
you can see the activities, but it's not something that we necessarily have to compile. It would be great if it was a report that, I don't know if either one of you can speak to that.
Jennifer?
Expenditures, yeah, we're already doing that. You're getting a payment
Well-
list every month, you're getting an electronic list every month,
Yeah, but
you're getting the payroll.
so like office supplies, I don't need that all broken down. But if it's Phoenix, I want that broken down. I want to know, did we buy, I forget what it's called.
Turn out.
No, there's a certain kind of shirt, and one chief wants it, and one shirt, one doesn't. It's Novak, starts with an N, but they're very picky about it. And so I want to know, did we buy that, or did we buy a turnout coat? And so, on this embroidery stuff. Well, what is that exactly? So I want some things actually broken out, not just.
It's all attached to the checks.
Well, it's not, I mean,
Feel
maybe,
like-
is there more,
Well,
is there anything more detailed than this
It's all
from
attached to
UAN?
the checks.
Well, yeah, I know,
Well,
but I mean, like, as a summary, like, could this pay, could you
Yes.
add any other components to it?
I can do this, which breaks, this is the electronic payments. I can do that for the checks too.
but I will tell you, I'm comfortable with what Rhodes does. This is a little less clear to me, and I like it all being together, because what happens on the checks is you're going through it individually. But when you've got a report, you've got all the roads there, and I can say, oh, fine, a fire, oh, fine. But when I have to go through, because I've done this with checks, I've gone through them, and then I had to go back, and then what happened a month ago? Well, but I can pull out what Rhodes did 2 months ago. I can just pull that out. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And then I can
I'm trying
find
to think if there's like, it feels like maybe there's something between these two that could almost get us there if the details could be provided.
I
think we could probably talk to you, Leanne, and be able
And
to-
see about what
I
options there
think you can do a description field, I believe, so that would tell you
Yeah,
what's what. I never did that before, but there's probably a way to do that. And if not, we could ask Julian to create one for us.
yeah,
Yeah,
that might be,
so let me give you one that concerns me though, that I don't think this will really effectively do, is the credit card bill. So a credit card can be for 20 different types of things. Credit cards, Judy Shumway really drilled this in my head, are dangerous. And so that one is not broken down, and I want to know what the credit card was spent on.
Do you do, and again, I'm just doing what we used to do, we had to do a credit card attestation, which basically you'd have to put in there like, so much was for office supplies, so much for, and then the head board signs off on it. Do you guys do that?
But
no,
that
but
sounds
that's a great
good.
idea.
Yeah,
Well, I believe it's like required. At least we have.
We review
Unless
it.
it was just Stark County. 'Cause
We
it would've been
review
just
it.
Stark County.
so I think it's a very good idea.
We review it, but I don't recall us signing off on
Yeah,
it.
the head of the trustee board had to sign off on it.
Yeah,
They did
we've never
saying
done
I reviewed it and then
I think that'd be excellent.
policy.
Yeah, and that would be not opposed to that if we can get away from having to generate, these individual spreadsheets, bring them forward to the meeting, whereas if you could create something where it's just being done.
So you
by-
understand the issue. If we can get a solution, I don't really care how we get there, but I want to be informed of really where the money is going.
Another question, do you have like a credit card, policy?
We,
Yes,
Okay,
we do.
because that's something, and I could even get wording from, Clarendon about the.
But you know what, I would
attestation.
welcome a look at the way that we've worded that. So if we're gonna look at this as I like the potential solution a lot, actually. So let's look at the credit card language, the sign off. The only item that I would want to be cautious of is that only the chair signs off on the credit card.
yeah,
I
I'm
would
okay
want
with
the
that model.
board to,
Yeah,
I'm sure you could do that. So
Yeah.
we
just that few more lines.
yeah,
But, so I guess really where I have my concerns are things like Amazon, credit card, things that,
or nebulous that you
aggregate,
don't know. that-
totals that you don't know what it's for.
Yeah.
If it's Office Depot, I don't need that broken down. But Amazon's totally different. And that's another thing that Judy would not let us buy
Well,
from at the
and
time.
the fiscal
Well,
officer
that's
and assistants of the
antiquated.
fiscal officer are still going to be reviewing these, so I think you would hopefully flag that for me immediately if you felt.
Yeah, but I want to know as a board member where that is. And it is antiquated, but the problem is still there if it's.
Correct. So we have to modernize and solve for the real issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a short break.
Okay.
Okay.
Without objection, we are recessed for 5 minutes, give or take, subject to the call of the chair. I call back to order the Berlin Township Trustees regular meeting for July 14th, 2025. Back to order. Okay, so we were talking about purchasing policy. So we've given you some ideas. Do you want more direction before we move on?
I would request that the fiscal officer and the assistant to the fiscal officer also take a close look at this, and maybe we can have some discussion in the next 4 weeks and bring it back and have legal counsel look at it in the meantime, because I think it could generate some good conversation, and there could even be some things to be added, sections that we haven't thought of, just to make sure that everything's included. I would like it to be, if we're going to enact it, I would like it to be comprehensive and be able to stick around for a while.
I like it. And so you get the desire for us is really to just be able to have something to review of substance.
The other thing that we need to be careful of is what this is doing is taking us from managing everything that's going on to going to a budget type operation. So what we're doing is we're giving people a budget to live within. And there's not something, unless we put a bunch of rules on it, to define that they can't do certain things. Like the fire chief likes a certain kind of range in this kitchen, so he goes and buys a new range.
Right.
Okay. Just to replace it because he likes the new one because it's got these neat new features. Or the road department goes off and does their sort of thing. And we got to make sure that we're keeping that under control.
I agree.
Not saying that we can't do this.
Well, see,
but we gotta
that's
put
why
it
I
in.
want to know where the money's being spent, because if I don't like it and they bought a new range that they didn't need, then I'm going to say, oh, I am going
Right.
to move that this policy completely change.
Yeah.
But if they're managing it appropriately, it's more efficient to allow them some latitude.
Well, we have a responsibility to be fiscally, have a fiscal need for it.
Right.
Not
And
to
that-
just arbitrarily make
And
our
that's
own
why
decisions.
they know that we're reviewing it,
Yeah.
that they're not going to go off on the left field.
Observation changes behavior.
And if you come down to it's on the 28th of the month or something, and you figure out that, hey, I got $5,000 that I haven't spent on what I can spend, do you go off and try to spend it?
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
and the use it, lose it thing is bad, because quite frankly, I've been in use it, lose it, and you know what? I used it.
Everybody does.
For the record, I will note the caveat that any purchases over $750, they are to notify me prior to having the fiscal office create a purchase order, which is to create some balance in there so that if it is a purchase that I have questions on or we need to discuss, we're able to do that before.
So that's if a purchase order needs to be created, but if there's already a blanket or a purchase order there, then do they still have to come to you?
Yes,
Okay, that
yes,
makes
that's
me
the
more,
expectation.
makes
The
me a little more
expectation,
comfortable.
This removes having to bring forward a requisition to the board if it's over 500, is that we're talking about it first before that purchase is even being made.
Yeah.
So, I understand, but I stand by the previous.
And that is even within their spending limits.
I'm not
So you'll
against-
just have to get rid of number 5. The township administrator must be notified for expenditures greater than $750, period. Not prior to a purchase order being created.
My intent with that was to make sure that when in the process,
Okay.
they were notifying.
So it needs to be 2 sentences, period. Prior to any purchase order, that you would have to approve it.
Or the expenditure being made.
Yeah.
Prior to the expenditure or purchase.
When I do,
order.
yeah, it doesn't, it's not meant to be, it means I agree.
It's not dismissive.
It's not
agreeable.
dismissive, because I noticed when I did that with you, I thought, that sounds dismissive.
No,
And I never mean that, and so,
I think we're used to
I
it.
don't-
And the
Yeah,
staff, the staff is aware that this would be the intent and understands. So
Yeah. Excellent.
I'm not against this in principle, but want a bunch of rules around it.
I think what both of you said, it's excellent. We need to be fiscally responsible. That's part of our jobs to look at what the management of the township's going on. And so I think your cautions with what she's indicating for policy, our ability to review them, the whole board approving them, not just one person, we're still building in accountability for it.
Now, what we did with the liaisons is we set up the liaisons and we gave the liaisons some flexibility as far as spending money. And we each have $2,000 that we can spend. And we could change that, or we could make this work if we said that they have this stuff, but they can spend it only in concert with one of the liaisons or with a trustee that's involved in it. So
But yeah,
I think
in principle, it can work, but it just needs some rules.
But I think in the last 12 months, I've authorized one expenditure, so it's not something I use.
I've authorized a couple, and I'd have to go back and think about them, what they were, but there's a couple times that we need to do that.
Well, and the fire station, it was.
Sure, same thing.
yeah, but I do wonder about, I was asked this question with regard to bringing an administrator on board. I do wonder about the future of the liaison role with the administrator in place. And, some of the operational components of what we were being entrusted to do as liaisons now really should fall into a professional management position. So for example, Orange doesn't have specific liaisons to roles, but Genoa does.
So I like liaison responsibilities. However, I've enjoyed not having nearly as many to deal with because Administrator Hale has been dealing with it. But I want one of us to be an expert in the area. So I want to know what's going on in fire. And I want you to know what's going on in zoning. And if it were to flip, that'd be great. But I want somebody to be responsible for heading up initiatives in that area. Because I don't want us duplicate and go into iWork or whatever, because that's duplicative. And I don't think that you need to necessarily delve into the fire engine. But you have very good questions, both of you, about the fire engine. And so if I've had my input about payment systems and it doesn't mean I abrogate the responsibility, but somebody has to be lead is really what I think.
Yeah, I think when we go to the organizational meeting, looking at what the responsibilities really are of liaisons, maybe we can maybe there still is, for lack of a better way of expressing it, like a leader of that unit still. So we have liaisons, but like, for example, it says like approving the time off. It says the liaison does that, but that's not true anymore. Now the administrator does that, right?
So, but I will tell you that our CBU requires a liaison. So there will have to be a fire liaison because that's.
Well, that makes sense,
but you get my point, because we still have to have them because somebody is in charge of those grievances and it goes to the liaison.
That makes sense. But that's not the same for roads or cemetery or zoning.
But I'm just saying you can't get rid of
Fire liaison. Yeah. I don't necessarily want to get rid of any liaison. I think more just revisiting what that role looks like, and like now I might know about cemetery, whereas before I wouldn't know about cemetery because we have a professional.
Right. But I do think that when it comes to roads, you give input.
Pretty deep.
So, and somebody has to know.
But see, this is a perfect example. Somebody comes on board to replace Trustee O'Brien. What if you go over to fire, I go over to roads and cemeteries, you still might have more knowledge on roads, so you're going over, So I would expect there to still be a connection there, even though I might be the liaison. That's not to say you can't go and talk to roads.
Well, right,
Bus,
same thing with fire now.
Same with fire, yeah. So I'm kind of curious. I read through that liaison role and it sounded like a lot of what we were previously doing as a board, and I think should no longer be doing with the size of our township.
Well, that's why
it's falling to the administrator.
Because it was becoming unwieldy.
Yeah. So I think we need to probably speak to that in the organizational meeting.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, we need a
same
flyer
thing.
for sure.
So,
But there's a difference between the role of the liaison as opposed to getting rid of the liaison.
Correct.
okay, so I missed, what are we doing with this?
She's going
I'll
to,
bring it back. I will bring it back to the board in August after input from the fiscal team and review by
Legal.
legal. Hopefully we'll have that.
Excellent.
and you know our concerns that, I think ours are relatively similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on purchase policy?
No.
Anything for administrator?
That was all.
Trustee items?
Do we have all of the, is there some late items, Tom?
Yeah, there's late items.
Okay, gotcha.
Trustee items? Excellent. That means you're doing your job. Old business. Future meetings.
DCTA Legislative Committee will be meeting in the next few weeks. We did bring up the mutual aid agreement, and I've sent a draft to the president of the DCTA to send out to all townships. Apparently only four or five townships have passed the agreement. And
Can I ask, do you know which ones?
yes, it was Brown, Concord, Orange, and let me check. Here we go. Concord, Oxford, Brown, and Orange are who we know of that has signed. So what we're going to try to do is solicit questions as to why townships who haven't passed them, and potentially, I believe the president was going to reach out to see if the prosecutor's office wanted to come and present and maybe answer some of those questions.
Well, see, they presented, but they didn't answer questions, and that's what,
And we all got it the same day of.
yes.
So
And I was very in favor of it, but I wanted questions answered that he said, do you recall the meeting? What was it that he said exactly? It made me think.
well, he didn't have time to answer any questions.
Right, and he left,
Mhm.
but it seemed like he almost said, contact your,
Yeah, he said to contact your specific assigned.
yeah, but that's what he's there for. And so I think that we need to all have a common understanding. We don't need 4 different assistant prosecutors' opinions.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and there apparently were a number of outstanding questions. So
well, there were like 3 major ones, which
Mhm.
was our whole, I believe, Berlin Township's concern, which was liability.
Mhm,
That was the main one,
mhm,
and he did not address that.
mhm. So let's put on for the agenda under trustee items, perhaps next meeting, the discussion of mutual aid agreement. We had taken that off previously until it got addressed by the DCTA. There should be an email coming out. Hopefully the prosecutor's office will come to the next meeting. That's yet to be determined, but the other thing that we're going to be doing is coming up with a systematic way to address some of these legislative items that are coming up at the state, to figure out basically kind of assign champions to go testify at the House on specific issues and better track what our representatives are voting for, because every one of our representatives voted for the bill that increased the referendum to 35%. So at the end of the day, the one person presented it forward, all 3 of them voted on it. And that's a demonstrably anti-township stance.
Okay, we're still talking meetings?
Yeah.
Touch a truck Saturday?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
OPWC Friday.
What was Friday?
OPWC.
OPWC, I have a meeting with them on Friday. and it's the old PWC steering committee. And then, next week, Thursday, there's the or the groundbreaking ceremony for Sunbury Park.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have a meeting with Marcy on the it's the second Thursday in August. Trying to figure out which one that is. It's gonna be the 14th.
Good call.
14th of August. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Those meetings, I don't know.
I don't have anything additional. Late items?
A couple of late items. One is a request for an appropriation of $1,500 for utilities for the fire department.
Move to approve $1,500 for utilities for the fire department.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
The second is just the revisiting. I will post a reminder for our residents on September 1st for the website and social media, reminding them of the vacancy for the trustee seat and the opportunity to apply.
Okay.
So that will-
Apply and do the resume as outlined in the newsletter.
I will take the newsletter language and post that to the website, but it will not appear on the website before the 1st.
The first of,
September.
September. That's when it should.
And the last one is a request for the board to consider a motion to temporarily adopt a policy that we can require funeral homes to provide us payment during business hours for funerals Monday through Thursday ahead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday funerals that are taking place at Evergreen Cemetery.
I move that we approve the requirement of funeral directors and homes being required to provide funds for burials of Friday through Sunday by the Monday through Thursday prior to that burial.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail, and in discussion and for clarification, what that means is that, so for Evergreen, because a person has to be bonded in order to receive those funds, they have to provide that here at the Township Hall to a bonded person.
Let me make sure I understood that correctly. Approve a requirement of funeral homes and directors to pay on the Monday through Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday before a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday funeral.
Correct.
Pay the township.
Yeah,
For that funeral.
at Evergreen. Or are we approving it for Cheshire too?
At Evergreen, because that's what the need is.
Okay.
I mean, so they could pay for Cheshire Cemetery, but they're not required to.
Yeah.
And we could amend the motion to at the discretion of the Cheshire Cemetery sexton, if she so desires to move to that.
So is Larry bonded?
Yes, so they are listed on the faithful performance of duty through a term.
So they're covered is really
Yes.
all I'm saying.
Yes.
Well, do you guys, do you trustees believe that we should amend that to include at the option of?
Yeah.
Okay, so a friendly amendment is to include that the cemetery sexton at Cheshire Cemetery can also require this at her discretion.
Okay, did we get it set up so they can make electronic payments?
I first need a second on the, or agree to the.
Agree
friendly-
to the friendly.
Okay, so say that again, please.
I'm just, my concern is the only way they can make a payment is either cash or check, and check was probably the only way. And getting a check here means they gotta probably come here in order to get a check here before the funeral. Is the one thing I would
So this
point
really
out.
goes to your issue, doesn't it?
This goes directly to my issue, yeah.
So the answer is yes, they have to.
Yes, they have to bring cash or check currently because our,
Well, I know they do that currently, but a lot of times they deliver it when the funeral is occurring.
yeah.
And if it's on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, they just bring it, they give it
Mhm,
to the section on the way to go.
mhm.
But what we're doing is we're changing the rules, saying, no, you gotta do that ahead of time.
No, it's at their discretion. So
No,
sexton
no,
for
not,
Cheshire,
well, not, for Cheshire it is, but it's not for Evergreen because there's
Correct.
not somebody to
there
accept
isn't
it.
somebody
that
to accept it.
There may be, but we want the flexibility where if we have
Mhm.
a staff member who is working the funeral who is not listed on that faithful performance of duty. So if we can add discretion, because if our roads director is working that funeral and he is listed on the faithful performance of duty, he could accept. But if he is not going to be and he needs to require them, he has the flexibility to do so.
But you see, we don't know that in advance, so I like the idea that it's required. And then if something goes wrong and he's available, of course he can do it. That's my thought. I don't really want to put that in the minutes in the resolution, because then the funeral homes will be saying, oh, we thought you'd be there, and so we didn't run it up to you. That's what I would do if I were them. So I don't want to make that an option, but if it happens, he can accept it.
It makes perfect sense. I'm just trying to figure out the practicalities of what's gonna happen as we're trying to do.
Right, but what you're doing is reiterating what
Right.
solution that trustee Rail wants to do in zoning, and it could be implemented for cemeteries. as well.
Absolutely.
And in the past, I was opposed to it, but the world has changed,
The world has changed.
and I have to adapt to it.
Well said.
Thank you. Hard to admit.
Okay, I mean, we can't take credit cards, we can't do anything.
Right.
And
Right
so-
now, I mean, we have
Check it out.
approved the means to do that. We are in a contractual disagreement with the language to implement the third-party software with the prosecutor's office, and have been for nearly 8 months now.
But if you read the letter that Chris Betts wrote, or that was in that
Yeah,
newsletter,
right.
it says that if it isn't according to state law, it don't
It
exist.
doesn't.
Right,
really
and so
exist.
that's why I
That
want,
was-
now that the
yes.
budget has passed,
It may,
that may allow a
Maybe.
logjam to be unjammed.
It's worth looking into, I suppose, but have we already moved on from Payrock? Or more likely, has Payrock already moved on from us?
I have not had a chance to revisit with them as to whether or not that door is still open, and so I will consider my best option this week
Okay.
for moving forward.
I appreciate that.
Because that would resolve
A lot of
a
issues.
lot of the
Mhm.
issues.
right, understand.
Yeah. All right.
Next, wait, no, call for the vote.
Okay.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes,
trustee O'Brien.
Yes. Next lead item.
I don't have any-
Excellent. Do you have a lead?
Pepperlow Road, did you all see the letter that I wrote back to Chris something?
Yes.
Or not to Chris, but to Steve.
Regarding the cliffs
Yeah, about the
situation.
Yes.
people diving off the cliff and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, what we're doing is we're moving the gate back, and we've got a meeting coming up to try to make it so that the parking is gonna be restricted up there, get rid of the parking, and make, hopefully, help that part of it. But, the place there on 36 has been a hazard forever.
Well,
People are diving in the water and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
we've had people paralyzed, we've had people die from
Yeah.
one cliff. Now, where you are discussing, it would take EMS so long to respond.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking like a half hour to get to them, and if they're in don't know how to put it kindly. If they're in bad shape, they're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, understand.
Because not only does it take a half hour to get to them, but how you transport them out
Mhm.
through trees and things like that on a gurney.
Be
So-
very difficult.
So we need to stop the problem. I appreciate you working that problem.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll,
I think it's
we'll do
important.
what we can on it, but I just want to bring that up so that everybody is
Mhm.
aware of it. And if anybody's got any ideas on how to fix it,
Yeah.
that would help. But
Yeah, I don't-
that's the hard part.
I don't know that we can stop TikTok.
I'm so adaptive.
Did it when I was a kid.
You made it out.
Can't
but
stop
somehow-
Life rebels.
Okay. Any other things?
Just trying to think. Just a general subject is Sherman Road. And the feeling that I've gotten is we're not going to get very much direct support from the county or ODOT on the traffic increases and all that sort of stuff.
I'm shocked.
But I think we will get a great amount of support if we decide to do something as far as OPWC grants and stuff like that to help out to change that road or change the road situation. I think that's just something that's in the works.
If I can add to that, in my
Sure.
conversations with both ODOT and the county, we first have the Sherman Road REA that is out there for the
Mhm.
speed study. And once the results from that come back, I think we can have a conversation with the board,
Mhm.
you know, whoever is seated at that time, about the desire to move forward, recognizing that if there was a desire at some point to do improvements, they take time, we know that. And by the time that the impacts would be happening, those improvements would need to start in the planning process sooner rather than later. As far as funding, there are some different pots that can be drawn from. ODOT is aware and has acknowledged that there will be an impact, but also acknowledges we need to bring the county in, and there's got to be a cooperative conversation between the entities. So
Mhm.
I think that first is getting that REA result back to us and then moving forward in the conversation.
And my reason for bringing it up and saying what I'm saying and adding to what Aubrey's saying is we probably need to be thinking about, or maybe coming back with a request for REA to look at what can and should be done, or what a recommendation is as far as what should be done to Sherman Road in the long run. That's the first part of it, and the second part of it is if we got that on the shelf, at least we can use that to try to negotiate some more support or funding or things that would help the whole situation.
Because really, at a minimum, it's 3 million.
Hmm.
That's a minimum.
And a extensive process, I mean, multi-year process
Yes.
to get in the cycles for the grant funding, for looking for design, for construction. So
So that, I'm talking $3,025,000.
Mhm. Thank you for the update.
It's just a heads up, we got to think about this.
Well, I didn't think about them being supportive of alternative funding. I knew that they weren't going to deal with the problem that they were going to create.
Well,
You could tell that at the previous meeting.
In thinking about it, if you look at all of the ODOT projects and the federal government projects that they do, they affect everything everywhere. And if they're doing it in a city, it can be millions and millions of dollars of effect that it's going to happen to the streets or to all kinds of things. And I can see where they want to hesitate about getting involved in any of that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Because it changes the
yeah.
whole thing.
The worry that I have is though, 5 years from now, they won't remember or care. So it might behoove us to actually start the process, knowing that we might not even carry through, because we need documentation of that support. Now, OPWC will be used for Shanahan Road for the next year, but we can start the process for the following year for that. And we had one other major project, I forget what it was, that we were considering using OPWC.
We were looking at 3Bs and a K, and
Yeah.
there was Sherman and 3Bs and a K were the two roads we were looking at.
So I mean, I would recommend that the board put forward the Sherman Road for 2027, knowing that the board may not have appetite to actually do it because it's going to make some residents unhappy. But however, when Sunbury Parkway is built, they're going to be unhappy with not being able to get out their driveway.
Mhm.
And they're gonna see the safety issue, and, the snow will get packed down and it'll turn to ice, and you don't really have any place to slide off onto it, so, something for you to consider. Any other late items?
Well, I got-
Well, with that, I'll recuse myself with the next item, and if you give me a minute, I'll withdraw.
We can sit here in the audience if you want to.
Because Ethics Commission hasn't answered me, and they said they would call me back. I'm gonna stay out of it. But I still need to talk to him because I'm gonna have to deal with
You
it.
get the thing that he gave you?
Yes.
Is that what it is? 'Cause I think you've got.
Is that the only copy?
I think you've
I
got.
thought it was in our packet. It's in our packet.
It is?
Yes. Wait one back.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I was thinking it was the electronic ones.
Just getting closer to the microphone.
Oh, before you leave, we should introduce the Jeff's assistant to the community, so that at least in the meeting, so. Welcome.
We can do that.
You're leaving, so before I leave, you can do that.
I just didn't want to forget.
Jeff, would you like to, Mr. Fiscal Officer, would you like to introduce the new assistant to the fiscal officer?
May I please present Paula Heitman? Paula Heitman is the former fiscal officer in Clarendon Township of Geauga.
County, there's two.
5 years, 5 years?
6
And
Wow.
6 years, and has moved to the central Ohio area very recently.
We are very glad to have you. It's definitely a reflection of our growth and think that you have already provided valuable contributions in this meeting. So appreciate you and welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Okay, so we had one final late item, as I understand it, to which Chair Trustee O'Brien has recused himself from the discussion. Who'd like to kick that off?
Well, I submitted the certificate, the proposed certificate of estimated resources to be submitted to the auditor as the first element of the budget process for this year. Went through the auditor worksheet, which is the pages following, having been duly trained in the matter by Claudia Smith last year. Took me a little bit of time to remember how to do it, but I think we've got it done correctly.
Okay. Trustee Bullard, do you have any items of
Well,
note?
I just got a couple of questions.
Great.
One is, we got, it says unencumbered balance, and I understand that, but we've got like the $500,000 for Pyatt Road, that's a loan. Would that be considered encumbering that balance, or is that not accounted for, or how does that work? I'm just curious.
Not sure I understand the question.
Well, when we did Pyatt Road, we borrowed up,
Yes.
$500,000 from OPWC.
Yes,
And we paid them back at a rate of $50,000 a year, no interest loan, and all of that sort of stuff. And we've got for 20 years, so that gets our payment
I don't
in.
think it's that much, but yeah, there's payments.
I think it's 20 years, whatever it is. But would that be taken care of here? Would it be removed from this, or is it just something that comes up as annual expenses that doesn't show up?
That's an annual expense.
It's an annual expense.
Yeah,
So,
it's like $5,000 or $6,000, $700.
it's, and then, I mean, there was one on, the south end of Pyatt Road, and then maybe even Hollenbach Road, which we had done the same sort of thing on. And those three may be still kicking around. I just didn't know whether they,
There's just the one. I believe there's just the one.
I mean, when you total it all up, it ends up being quite a bit of money, but it doesn't show up as encumbering the balance, even though it's money that we borrowed and have to pay back. I'm just curious as to.
We use part of the unencumbered balance to pay. This is unencumbered as of this time. We've actually already paid the note for this year.
Okay.
But next year's will get paid out of this.
I was just trying to understand the definition of unencumbered.
Means that it's not in a PO or a blanket at the time, right?
Okay. So even though it's something we're gonna have to pay, it doesn't encumber the balance of things.
No, because I would assume that you just encumber every year, like the $6,000 or whatever. And then the next year you would encumber the next 6,000. So it shouldn't be in there.
And it's 7,000. It's 7,000 a year that we're paying on that note.
On Pye Road?
Yes.
Wow.
7,079.39.
Wow, because I thought we had borrowed $500,000.
Well, that's the payment.
Okay, I understand. No problem. Okay, no questions. I think I understand how it works out.
Okay.
Well, so does that seem alarming to you that this was prior to my time that you guys engaged with that, so it was a $500,000 borrowed, so seems like paying $7,000 would be not a lot.
Well, sure.
Does that strike you?
Maybe they,
Do you remember the terms of agreement?
yeah, so maybe they didn't borrow that much.
It was a 20-year agreement for.
I think it was
Okay,
200 and something.
Okay, so if it was 200 over
The
20
balance is
years,
now-
that would make sense. That would be
The
7,000.
balance is now 200 and something. I believe.
Oh, okay.
I can.
Well, if it's a 20-year agreement at 200,000, then 7,000 a year would make sense, right? 10,000-ish. It just depends on how much it is.
I can do a full report on this at a time when I
No.
know what I'm doing.
didn't
I
mean to
just,
make that big
in
a
the
deal.
middle of it,
What it does is it takes the money away from the future trustees because they have to make those payments. Those have to be made ahead of time. Understand?
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
couple of forms I have to add to it to have it done.
I didn't see anything that really looked of note in here.
The bottom line figure is a little bit larger than last year's. Last year's was 17 million and something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's the next steps, Mr. Fiscal Officer, for this?
Move to approve and
I make a motion that we approve the original certificate of estimated resources for 2026 per the schedule dated July 15th, 2025. So moved.
Second, moved by the trustee Bullard, seconded by the interim chair. Any discussion? Please call roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second, moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by the interim chair. Please call roll.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee Rail.
Yes, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that. I just kind of got me.
Oh, no, great job.